Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is really a range report revisit, because I have already reviewed an example of this gun in the past, and some people said I really didn't do that gun justice because I wasn't shooting it with a red dot. So I have a different example now, and before I get into this range report, I want to thank all the people that make these possible. First and foremost is my good friend Ken, who's a local subscriber who lent this particular gun to the channel. I want to thank my Patreons as always, because due to their monthly support, they help keep the lights on around here, and the person that provides all of the ammunition for these range reports, thus making them financially feasible for me, and that is my good friend Mark from Brownworks. You guys hear me talk about Brownworks in every single range report because he supports me here at the Texas Gun Vault. But if you have just found my channel, I urge you, go check out Brownworks. I'm going to put a link in the description and a pinned comment. Mark over there is a true artist. He can make fine custom wood grips for a wide variety of firearms, from 1911s and CZs, and yes, even Beretta 92s. In fact, I even pulled out my Beretta 92 FS Compact with some Brownworks grips with the Texas Gun Vault logo. Yeah, check those things out. Those things are so cool, and this is one of my carry guns. I absolutely love these grips. It was a huge upgrade to this firearm. But maybe you're watching this video because you own a gun like this, a Beretta, and you want something that is customized to your heart's desire. Well, go check out Brownworks. Go see what he can create. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. He can produce these grips from a wide variety of exotic woods and materials. He can even put on custom etchings and logos. Anything that you can imagine he can make, and every set of grips is custom made for you. They're one of a kind. No one else will have anything like it. So if you're interested in getting a set of fine wood grips for your Beretta, go check out Brownworks. As I said, link in the description below and a pinned comment. And if you don't see what you're looking for on his website, please contact Mark. And when you do, tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. Alright, so let's talk about what this gun is and why I am revisiting it. Well, this is the Beretta 92G, which means it is the decocker only, that is done up and customized by Langdon Tactical. Now, Langdon Tactical has really made a big name on the market when it comes to these Berettas, because essentially they're taking a gun that is already a tried and tested design and amplifying all of its great qualities with a better trigger, a nicer finish, and adding other customization to it. And they really do a fantastic job. And as I mentioned, when I shot the original LTT, it had a standard slide on it. And everyone said, you gotta go shoot it with the red dot, you're going to shoot it better. So that's why we're here. So let's talk about the things I like and don't like about this gun. First and foremost, at the heart of this gun, it's a Beretta. It's a high quality firearm that looks fantastic. That open slide design is always classy, and I love the two-tone look with that stainless steel barrel with the rest of the gun being finished in black. I absolutely love the trigger that LTT puts in this. It has a short reset, it's crisp, it feels fantastic. I believe they also adjust the spring weight when it comes to the trigger and the hammer as well. So whatever they do to tune these guns, you can definitely feel a difference. I think Beretta triggers are already pretty good, but these Langdon Tactical triggers are even better. I also really like the sights on this gun. You can see it has some suppressor height sights in the front and the back, and those can co-witness through that Trijicon. I like the fact it does have the milled out slide for that red dot, and it has the rail or the M9A1 style of frame. So it has a lot of options in a classic gun. Now let's talk about the things that I don't like. And there's only going to be two. One thing you can change and one thing that you can't. Let's talk about the thing you can change first. I know that right now the G models, or the decocker only models of these guns, are the most popular. And I understand why, and I don't want to debate that here in this video. But when it comes to my personal preferences, I prefer the F-type, which means it has a safety and a decocker. But that's something that I could change out. If I own this gun, I might want to go in that direction, but I understand why people want the G's first and foremost. And the other thing I don't like is the back of this grip. Beretta has something called the Vertec grip, which has a more straight back strap. This has the M9 hump, or the Beretta hump in the back. It's comfortable for me, but I know it's not for everyone. But after shooting a gun like an M9A3 that doesn't have it, it feels so much better. So I kind of wish they would adjust that when it comes to these frames. That's one thing I can't change, but I could live with it. And both of those two gripes are very small. All right, so let's get this thing to the range. I want to shoot it again. I want to see if my opinions on this fine firearm are going to change any now that I'm shooting it with a red dot. Everyone says that they will. So I'm going to set the target out at 7 yards, load one of these magazines up, and let's see if this red dot helps me be any accurate than I was before. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that group. It's shooting a little bit low, but it's definitely a better group than when I originally shot a gun just like this without the red dot. But I should say it's still not as good as I can shoot my own personal Beretta FS Compact. Now, why is that? I don't know. It has a shorter frame. Maybe I'm just more used to the gun, or maybe for some reason this gun's just a little bit more accurate. But I seriously doubt that, because after all, this is a Langdon Tactical. I'm pretty happy with that group. I think most people would, but I have to say, I think I shoot that one a little bit better. But the trigger on this gun is fantastic, just like the previous example that I shot. So now we're going to do what I call the accuracy portion. No, I'm not going to bench rest it. Sometimes people criticize me about that, but once again, it's just putting the target out at about double the distance and see if the group opens up any. I'm hoping with this red dot, just like I saw at the shorter distance, that the grouping is not going to be that bad. So I'm going to shoot for the head on this IDPA target, see how I do, and compare it to the previous gun that I reviewed. So overall, that's also a pretty good group. I did have one flyer in there, and I wasn't really expecting that. Sometimes when I have those flyers, I know, yeah, I didn't reset the trigger right, or my trigger pull was wrong, or I was holding the gun wrong. I didn't feel it that time. But yeah, I really pulled one off to the right. Now remember, I'm just an average gun guy. If you're coming to my channel because you're expecting some type of trick shot, well, that's not me. I like to think that I represent the average gun owner here in the United States. I like to go to the range for recreational purposes, and I just enjoy shooting awesome guns. I'm not here to impress you. I'm not here to be the best. I'm just here to enjoy these fine firearms. So I like to think if I can shoot these guns pretty well, I think the average American gun owner can as well. And I'm pretty happy with that group, and I gotta say the trigger in this is fantastic. I don't really remember exactly what the other trigger in the other Langdon Tactical was like. I do remember it was really good, but this one is exceptional. It feels so crisp, so I give them a lot of points for that. All right, I want to give my wife Becky a shot to shoot this. Now, she likes Berettas in general. She doesn't understand why, when actually I do. It's the locking mechanism. If you've ever shot a gun like a Glock and then a Beretta, it feels different. And that's because this has a locking block that drops as compared to a tilting barrel. I've always felt that these guns just simply have a smoother recoil. It's qualitative, I totally get that, but I kind of feel like the action of the gun comes direct back into your hand a little bit more than having the gun flip. They're just a little bit more soft shooting. I like the way that they feel. So let's get her behind this trigger and let's see what she has to say. Well, she said that she really liked it. I also thought she shot it pretty darn well. Her only complaint, no, it wasn't the grips, which is usually her normal complaint. She thought these G10 grips were pretty nice. They're not overly aggressive. It was that little hump in the back that I talked about in the beginning of this video. She likes that Vertex style grip as well, something that's a little flat in the back versus it being curved. Once again, it's a qualitative thing. Some people are going to like this, some people are going to like the other style. But it's just like revolvers. Some people like the round butt revolvers, some people like the square butt revolvers. And I know that Beretta offers these 92 guns in both styles. So pick your poison in what you like. All right, I want to give my son a chance to shoot this. You guys have been seeing him in every single range report lately. He is a novice shooter, a new shooter, and I'm trying to really introduce him to firearms. He likes guns, especially because he loves video games, and that's how I got into guns so many years ago. I loved the thought of getting to shoot the guns that I shot in those video games, and if I can get him excited about the Second Amendment in firearms, well, hopefully the Second Amendment will thrive for generations to come. We have to pass that baton on. So he's learning to shoot, and I want to give him a chance behind this gun to see what he can do. So let's see how he does. So there was something that he really liked and something that he didn't. Let's talk about the thing that he liked first. He really liked this red dot. You know, when I first got into guns, the concept of a red dot optic on a handgun was unheard of. Well, not unheard of, it just wasn't very common at all. And for me, I've always said iron sights are the true test of a marksman. And then the people in the comments that say, hey, my vision isn't what it used to be, makes a great point when they say these red dot optics truly are force multipliers. And I do agree. And I don't look down on anybody that requires a red dot. I have said in the past, they do make it a lot easier. But that aside, he loved it, and I think he liked it because it's what he's used to in the video games. And these red dots truly are the wave of the future. Now let's talk about the thing he didn't like. Now he has shot a lot of striker-fired handguns in the past. And you guys know with Glocks, that first trigger pull is the same as the last. Well, this is a double action, single action firearm. So that first pull of the trigger is double action. And it was really heavy for him. He didn't like that at all. And then he was expecting that second trigger pull to be the same. Now I had warned him about that, but granted, it's something that you just have to get used to. It's a new gun for him. It was a new experience. And he looked at me after shooting it and going, I don't like that double action pull. So he really liked the red dot, didn't like the double action pull, but I thought he shot it pretty well. Speaking of the double action pull, I want to shoot an entire magazine through this with just the double action. After all, Langdon Tactical really polishes these trigger surfaces and these sear surfaces to make them the best they possibly can be. So I'm curious how accurate I can be shooting this thing double action each time. So I'm going to set up a new target and see how I do. And all I can say is this gun has a fantastic double action pull. In fact, let me safety check the gun. We are clear. And I'm going to tell you, that double action pull, while of course it is a lot heavier than your standard single action, it is smooth and it is a consistent pull from the beginning to the end. They did a fantastic job on that. I don't know if it has to do with maybe they changed the weight of the spring. I understand that sometimes you can upgrade these Berettas to what I think they call the D spring. Maybe they did that as well. I'm not 100% sure. Well, this double action pull is great. Speaking of another thing that I want to try out is, can I shoot this gun fast? After all, if you're going to own a tactical firearm like this, you're probably carrying it for self-defense or for home defense, or maybe you're a competitive shooter. So I'm curious, can I get this magazine to drop out of this gun fast, put a new one in? And as an average shooter, if I can do it fast, well, you definitely can yourself, because I'm nobody special. So I'm gonna load up 2 magazines. I'm gonna try to shoot this thing kind of fast, change the magazine, and see how fast I can do it. And once again, I really have to compliment this trigger. I can shoot this gun really, really fast. And these magazines fly out of here. It doesn't matter if the gun is in the vertical position or if you have it tilted a little bit, those magazines fly out of there. I love that, and that gives you the ability to change these magazines really fast. So whether you're going to use this for home defense or for maybe competition, I don't think you can go wrong. All right, so one more test I want to put this thing through before I give you guys my final thoughts is the hollow point test. You know, sometimes guns get a little fidgety when it comes to ammo, so I'm going to put some Federal Hydroshock through it. I have never heard anybody have any issues with hollow point ammunition with these Berettas, but you never know. Sometimes if guns become too polished or the tolerances are too tight, they get a little bit fidgety. I don't really expect that with this test, but let's find out. So some Federal Hydroshock through this beautiful Beretta Langdon Tactical. And it fed all the hollow points that I put through it, which I would expect from Beretta and Langdon Tactical with no problems. So what are my final thoughts on this beautiful 92G all done up by LTT? Well, I can admit when I am wrong. People were right. I really should have tested this originally with the red dot, because that red dot truly is a force multiplier. For some reason, when I was shooting this thing with iron sights, I just didn't shoot it as well, especially as compared to my personal 92 FS Compact. But the Langdon Tacticals I knew were not pieces of junk, and people said, hey, I think you got it wrong, use the red dot. And I'm glad that I was able to revisit this gun, because it really should be run with the red dot. I like those tall sights as well if you do want to run the irons, but it shot so much better for me, and so I definitely have a higher opinion of this gun than I recently did in that past range report. So everything about this gun I really like, with just the exception maybe of that grip. I would like to have that as just a straight profile on the back, but it's not really that big of a deal. And of course I said I would like to have the safety instead of just the decocker, but that's just a personal preference. But nothing on this gun for me is a deal breaker, or I would say makes it a bad gun. It really impressed me. So on this range report revisit, what do I give it when it comes to my star system? Well, I have to give this thing 4.75 out of 5 stars. It's not the best shooting handgun I've ever shot. I'm not super accurate with it. It's still pretty good, and my grouping with the red dot is still a lot better. But man, does it check off a lot of boxes. It is a fantastic trigger. It has a sweet recoil. It is absolutely aesthetically pleasing. I think it is worth everything that you would pay for it. It is just gorgeous, especially outfitted with that red dot. And if you were going to buy one of these, I'd definitely recommend running some type of optic on it as well. So 4.75 stars on this beautiful rethinking and re-innovating of a classic from Beretta, the Beretta 92G by Langdon Tactical. Yeah, just an awesome gun. And as I said, I'm glad I got to revisit it because my opinion definitely changed. So what do you guys think? Did I get it right this time? And I fully admit I was wrong. The red dot's the way to go. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.